Hey, what's going on? Got a question today from Dylan Kuhn, and he says, I have heard that long tossing every day is a great way to increase velocity. Is this true? Yes and no. And I know why you're saying this because every year that I've played baseball, I always had a teammate who gained 4, 5, 6 miles an hour over the summer and came back to school, and everyone was like, what the heck did you do? And he was like, I just long tossed every day, right? Now, I say yes and no because yes, this can be a very beneficial way to increase your pitching velocity, but also no, because I see so many guys try to do it and they do it wrong and they don't gain any pitching velocity, or in fact, they decrease in their pitching velocity. So there's a very strategic way to go about your long tossing, okay? And when I say strategic, I don't mean there's one way that works. I mean, it's got to be strategic on your part and finding what works for you, okay? But the biggest thing, and here's an equation that I came up with that really helps guys put it into perspective and the way that you should really focus on it. When it comes to long toss, I see so many guys getting out there and just throwing and backing it up as far as they can and throwing, and then they really have no idea what they're doing. They just go as far as they can, then they bring it back in, and they try to do that every day, and it doesn't end up working. The formula that I want you to start to use and start to implement is that you want to take the number of throws times your intensity of those throws, right? And then whatever that equals, you want to progress that number over time, right? So the reason why I say the intensity of the throws, because that's where the magic is at. You can get out, I could throw, and you know, they say for long toss, like the extreme long toss, that's what you're doing. You're forcing the intensity out of your throws, because if you have to throw the ball, 300 feet, you have to be max effort. So you have to have all full intensity. I get that. I understand that. But I can have the same intensity throwing, 45 feet, 60 feet, 90 feet, the same exact intensity as I do throwing 300. In fact, for me, long toss was never 300 feet. I would go to like 120, 150, 180 at the most. And that was efficient for me because I didn't want to lose any movement on my ball, any sink on my ball. I had very good sink on my fastball, and I didn't want to try to flatten that out just to get the 300 feet and do long toss every day. So for me, I like to keep it a little bit shorter, but understand the intensity behind the throws that I'm putting in, right? Because again, if you take a typical guy, who goes out there, tries to do long toss every single day, he gets out there, builds it up to, 300 feet, and he gets in maybe 3, 4, 5 throws, maybe at the max distance where he's airing it out. And then he starts bringing it back in and doing pull downs. That's cool, but guess what? You only had 3, 4, or 5 throws at max effort. When I'm building up, after I get warmed up at the closer distance, once I get back to 90 feet, 100 feet, 120, 150 at the most, 180 maybe, I'm letting it fly. So I'm getting in more throws at max intensity, right? So I'm trying to throw it through that guy at 150, right? So I'm throwing with the same intensity that the guy's trying to throw 300 feet. So just remember that, because that formula is super powerful, and that's the way you really get the most out of your long toss. And that's how you increase your pitching velocity, your throwing velocity. Because once you start to keep track of the intensity of your throws and how many of those max effort throws you're having, then you can build it up over time. Like I said, it's the number of throws times that intensity, right? So if you're throwing, after you get warmed up, I'm talking about, after you get warmed up, let's say you're throwing, 20, you start with, let's say 20 max effort throws at whatever distance you're at. To me, the distance really doesn't matter. You find that good distance, but at that max intensity, right? Let's say you start with 20. Then maybe you stay at 20 for the first week. See how your arm feels. If it feels good, maybe bump it up to 25 the next week. Bump it up to 30 the next week after that. 35. You see what I'm getting at? But you have to understand how many throws at max effort did you make. And then you have to just pay attention to your arm, because you're not going to feel great every single day, right? So if you're hurt, tired, sore, or tight, you want to take it easy that day, okay? Just play catch. But if you're feeling good and you're feeling great, your arm's feeling great, warm up real good, and then let that sucker fly. And then reevaluate the next day, see how you feel. Are you sore, tired, tight, or hurt? No, if not, let's do it again. And then we keep going. We pay attention to our max effort throws, and then we progress it over time. We build it up, right? Just like in the gym. If you're going to go in the gym and bench press, right, you're not just going to go, oh, I'm going to do 300 today, like 300 feet. I'm going to do 300 on the bench today. No, you're not. You're going to start off slow and build it up slowly over time, and you're going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Same thing with throwing long toss. That's the same idea. And that's why you need to keep track of your number of throws and the intensity of those throws. And that's how you gain pitching velocity or throwing velocity, by using long toss. So I hope that answers your question. If you have a question, leave a comment down below. If it's a good one, I'll answer it here on video. If you have not subscribed already and you find value in these videos, please hit that subscribe button with the bell notification right next to it. This way you'll be notified every time I upload a new video, and I got some good stuff coming. And like I said, I love to answer some of your questions. So I'll talk to you guys down in the comments. Thanks.